I am so excited about today's Tuesday Tablescape topic. In fact, I think you're going to find it so helpful and beneficial that you should bookmark this video for a future reference. I'm Nicole with It on the Table. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. And today's topic, I'm going to be talking about alternatives to a tablecloth. Meaning, you don't have a tablecloth, you don't want to go buy a tablecloth, or you just cannot find a tablecloth that's going to work for the event you have coming up. I have some wonderful options and a little bit out of the box suggestions for what you can use instead of a tablecloth. Option number one for replacing a tablecloth is regular fabric. Going to a fabric store, finding a color or a pattern or style that's going to work with the theme of your event, and get a couple of yards of it, put it on your table, and voila, it's a tablecloth. So I've done this a few times. Now, the first one I have is just regular old black fabric. I went to the fabric store, got a couple of yards. I love this black fabric because it's a stretchy polyester. It does not hold wrinkles, and I can just throw it on my table and it looks fantastic. In fact, I have used this black fabric on a Halloween table setting in the past, and nobody knew that it was just fabric and not a tablecloth. But you know, there's other options instead of just black fabric. You could go with an off-white fabric or a white one. Now, white tablecloths are probably the easiest to find, but maybe the eggshell off-white one that you want is a little harder. So grab some fabric for it. Or instead of those two colors, you can always just get some fabric remnants like this orange one, which is wonderful for Halloween or Thanksgiving or just any other event that you have going on. And it can drape, it can be used as going across in a angled manner, or maybe even bunched up in the middle of your table as the part of a centerpiece. So remnants, wonderful. And this in fact is another remnant that I have. And I love how it's kind of already scrunched. It's got sequins on it. It's brown, so it could be used for lots of different holidays or other events that you might be hosting. So look at the remnant section in your fabric store, because a lot of times you can find something that's a little smaller that's perfect for that center of the table that you are wanting to cover. All right, so that was idea one for fabric. Now, a second idea is using a fitted sheet. Or actually, in my case, I usually go with a flat sheet. I use flat sheets for buffet tables. I drape them over my table. They cover especially that folding table that's kind of really ugly and hideous. They're wonderful to cover the ends all the way down to the ground of a buffet table, and they're hiding everything. So a white flat sheet is perfect for buffet tables. So similar to this one that I have right here, just again, plain old white flat sheet. Twin size is good, double size good. Probably don't need queen or king. They're a little too big, but very useful, very handy. You'll use it more than you probably would think you would. If you don't want just the plain old white sheet though, you know, you can grab something like this plaid one. And you know, maybe your color or the theme you're going off of, especially in the fall, winter, when your things are a little cold outside, a flannel sheet like this one works well, and it would be great with red dishes or blue or white or anything along those lines. But again, you can go find a flat sheet and any pattern or style that's going to work with what you're wanting to do on your table. And then just drape it over your table like a tablecloth. Almost nobody will even think that it's a sheet that you have instead of a tablecloth. Okay, next idea I have is a painter's drop cloth. You've probably seen this online, especially on Pinterest, about people using drop cloths for curtains and other decor. They are wonderful for tablecloths because you can wash them. They're very sturdy. Just don't get the ones that have like a plastic backing to them. You can even bleach them a little bit, and I haven't done it, but you could probably dye them. I've seen people who've done embellishments along them as well, but this is mine, and I used it on a fall tablecloth. I love how you can fray the edges to give that bit of a rustic feel to it. So And the best part about it is the size of the drop cloth I got, I was able to make matching napkins. So I not only got a tablecloth, but I got a full set of matching napkins out of my drop cloth. Wonderful option for a replacement to a tablecloth. And the fact that you can kind of do what you want with it, lots of versatility with painter's drop cloths. All right, my next idea, and I know you've seen this one probably too, but just a quick refresher on it, is craft paper. And the best thing about craft paper is that you can, after you use it, you can toss it. It's not something that you need to clean up or wash or launder. You put it on your table, it's done its job, and then you can take and throw it in the trash. Now, of course, you've got your standard craft paper. I've used white paper on a kid's Thanksgiving table, and it was great because they could use crayons and draw on it. So I used the white as the base, and then I took the craft color paper and I used that as a centerpiece. Now, another option too, along the same lines of craft paper, is when you go to craft stores, a lot of times they'll have, I believe it's kind of marketed as paper for teachers to use in their rooms. So you could use something like this, or sometimes it's also used as an option for a photography backdrop. But they come as a big roll at your local craft store. And this is a wonderful option that you can put on your table down the length of it or going across. And in fact, this one looks like wood. So this is a great option or alternative instead of a tablecloth, is using this kind of craft paper, for lack of a better description of it. All right, another option, I actually don't honestly have a very good one to share with you, but beach towels. Beach towels can be really fun instead of using a tablecloth, especially if you're doing that kind of theme. You know, one that's a beach theme, an outdoors sand theme. And now they even have some really fun ones, and I think there's a brand called like Sand Cloud, where they're a little oversized and they've got some great fun colors and patterns. But I think that would be a wonderful option, an alternative to a tablecloth. All right, got another one for you. I think this is number 6 actually, and that is scarves. I mean, think about it. Scarves are fabric, and they usually come in so many different patterns and textures and styles. They are wonderful options for tablecloths. So this is actually just a long skinny one, but you know, with this scarf, this would make a very cute table runner, just putting it down the center of your table. Or you could kind of bunch it in the middle using it with your centerpiece. Another option of scarf I have is this dark purple one, and I've used this one on a Mardi Gras table, and it looks so cute. I just love the fringe with it. I mean, that's how you know it's a scarf, right? It's got that fringe. I've also used this red scarf, and the funny thing about this red scarf, it was actually my Nana's, and I'm not a person that wears red, but boy, I will sure put it on a tablescape instead of a tablecloth. I've used it on a buffet for a patriotic theme, and it looked fantastic. So I have this red scarf. Now, again, scarves come in so many different looks and styles. This one is an American flag. It's a scarf that looks like the American flag. Wonderful, again, for a patriotic theme. But I'm just sharing with you how many different scarves there are out there. And you can get really inexpensive ones at your secondhand store because people are always donating scarves. And especially if you don't want to spend much money, it's a wonderful option for a tablecloth. And then I have this one, and I'll be honest, I have no clue where I got this one from. But again, this would be a wonderful long table runner, or if you found 2 of them, they could go across your table as well. But it's a great alternative to a tablecloth. I mean, just think, this is half of the size, and how pretty it is. It would be wonderful on a very elegant looking table setting. Okay, so now I've got another idea for you, and that is kind of along a similar line of these scarves because it's fabric, but it's not a scarf. It's a throw blanket. I mean, think about it. We have throw blankets like this one everywhere right now. And I got this one at Target, and I love the checkered pattern of it, and I love how it's fringed, and it's so thin. That's why it's a wonderful option for a tablecloth, because of how thin it is. It's not going to be big and bulky when I put it on my table. And the size of most throws, you can already see, look how big this throw is. You can see now why this would be a great option on a tablecloth. In fact, it probably wouldn't go the whole length of a rectangular tablecloth like I have like this, but I've shown in past videos how you take a square tablecloth. If you put it on the diagonal, it's a wonderful tablecloth. That's why throws, in fact, I believe they're now marketing table throws, which is a throw that they're using as a tablecloth. So you can kind of get the gist. It's a throw that they're using as a tablecloth. So I really like this idea because then it does double duty. You can use it as a throw, put it on the foot of your bed, in your living room, on your couch, and then when you want, grab it, put it on your table, and throw it in the wash, or maybe yours has to be dry cleaned, but you can see, easy to clean, very versatile throws instead of tablecloths. All right, another option I have, and I just recently showed this to you on a table setting, which is placemats. I did this summer to fall transition table, and I used placemats instead of a tablecloth, and it turned out so cute because the way that I laid the placemats on an angle, it didn't look like they were necessarily placemats. They instead were a wonderful alternative to my tablecloth. Okay, now I have another, a little out of the box idea for a replacement of a tablecloth, and that is a curtain. Yes, a curtain. Again, wonderful thing to pick up at secondhand stores because people are always redecorating their homes, and those curtains that they currently have up aren't going to match what their new decor is going to be. So you can get very inexpensive curtains at secondhand stores. And in fact, that's where I picked up this curtain. It's a wonderful curtain. You can tell that it's a curtain inside here because you can see where the dowel would go. But I looked at this, got it from a secondhand store, and I loved the color and the pattern on it. And I ended up using it on an Easter table, and nobody knew that it was a tablecloth until I told them because of how cute it looked on my table and how well it worked with the other decor that I had on my table setting. So think about that too. When you are out looking for a tablecloth, maybe you need to look at the curtains instead. And the only thing with panel curtains is that you'll have the right length, but you might not have quite the right width. So make sure that you measure your table's width first so and then take a little tape measure with you and make sure that the curtain panel will be wide enough for your table. Otherwise, I think curtains are wonderful options instead of a tablecloth. And kind of similar along those same lines, shower curtains. I know, you're just thinking I'm hysterical and ridiculous here, but this is a shower curtain, and I recently used this on a thrifted tablescape because it was going to work with the colors I wanted and along with the kind of look and feel I was going for on my table. And when I found, I really honestly wasn't sure exactly what it was because it's it's definitely a fabric. It's not like that plasticky kind of shower curtain. But looking at these little holes that they have here, it was obvious that this is for a shower. But again, with a shower curtain, it's a little wider than your curtain panels. So it was a wonderful drape on the width of my table. And then the length fit perfectly too. So this was a great out of the box idea for instead of a tablecloth. All right, I have one more idea for you. And I think this one's a really fun one. So when I've been sharing with you, most of the things I've shared are fabric. There was one that was the craft paper. So going along the lines of craft paper, what about wrapping paper? I mean, think about it. Wrapping paper, kind of like this one, is just so fun. You know, especially if you're doing some kind of kids party or something else where that wrapping paper really is expressing the theme and the emotion that you're going for. Take your wrapping paper and put it on your table. Wrap your table with the wrapping paper, and it's gonna look so dang cute. I mean, I just can't, I'm just getting goosebumps thinking how cute this would be on my table, and then setting it with elements that match that theme. Now, along these same lines, and I know this is kind of where I get a little kooky, but I've done it and it looks so awesome, is I used wallpaper. I know, wallpaper. But I found this wallpaper at an estate sale. Yep, this is an old wallpaper that I found at an estate sale. And I just loved the color and the design of it. I had to use it on a tablescape. So I actually used it on my cozy fall table setting, which, funny enough, was a combination, here we go, using my drop cloth tablecloth, and then I used my wallpaper as the runner down the middle of my table. And it looks amazing. And I know my guests did not realize that I had actually put wallpaper on my table. But again, you know, the neat thing with that wallpaper, it's extra wallpaper. So when I was done with it at the end of the evening, I was able to just crumple it up and throw it away. Well, I hope you really enjoyed and found these alternative options to a tablecloth useful. As I said, I think you really should bookmark this video because you're going to want to remember what those ideas were. I'll also put a link down to everything that I have used so you can see it online to my website. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday here at the table. Bye.